Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here at California Weather Watch. Today is September 7th, and right now we're looking at the visible/infrared satellite imagery. You can see that marine layer bumping up and down the coastline here, but it's pretty clear across the Los Angeles metro right now, so you'll see that nice sunrise coming as you can see it race across the lower 48 states. Looking to the south, Category 5 Hurricane Jova continues to spin, and it's making its trek to the northwest, but it will start deteriorating here in the next day or so as it moves over colder water, and that cool water will really take away its deep convection. But it's going to spread some moisture back up over the region here as well. Could kick off some thunderstorms, mainly for the higher terrain. We'll take a look at those details in a moment. Sea surface temperatures, you need to be over this yellow water to maintain a hurricane. So you can see why, as Hurricane Jova moves off to the northwest, it will weaken quite rapidly. And we saw this with Hurricane and Tropical Storm Hillary as well, as it moved off that warmer water off to the north. This is El Nino. You can see it developed across the equatorial Pacific here, and I'm going to do an update here in the next 3 to 4 days. We'll go over what El Nino means, and we'll talk about what kind of impacts it can have on the west coast of North America here as well. So stay tuned for that in the next few days or so. Look at this. 1982, a tornado actually destroyed 3 homes, hit some cabins, and actually injured some people in a cabin out there. Pretty crazy stuff back in 1982. For 2000, look at this. Lightning struck a basketball hoop at Oceanside High School. 100 students reported feeling the strike, and 2 students were knocked out. So if you start to hear that thunder out there, you never know when you're going to be targeted. Get indoors or get in a car. You'll be much safer there. 2013, of course, monsoon moisture, big headline maker for the Southwest USA at this time of year. Phoenix is going to continue its hot stretch here Saturday through Sunday, probably adding another couple 110 plus degree days for Phoenix, Arizona. Crazy stuff down there. This is looking at Hurricane Jova here. This is looking at precipitable water anomaly, and you can clearly see it moving up. It starts to spread some of that moisture back up over the region, but the biggest slug of this tropical moisture is going to stay off the coastline, it looks like. But this could kick off some thunderstorms across the higher terrain here, and you can see as the system moves off to the northwest, it will weaken, it'll get sheared, and some of this lower level moisture will push off to the west. And if we scroll out far enough, you'll notice that remnant moisture eventually join the westerlies out here. You can kind of see it getting caught up in this mid-latitude cyclone out here and maybe pushing off towards western Canada here in the form of an atmospheric river. Interesting stuff there in the 2-week time frame. Looking at the European, let's go ahead and put this into motion, and you can see the increase in moisture across the Southwest USA. Bulk of the moisture stays offshore and then pushes off towards Hawaii as some lower level moisture off to the west. This is looking at total swell, so you'll clearly see Hurricane Jova down here, and it's going to kick up some of the swell for Southern California as we go through this weekend into early next week coming up. More on that here, because the National Weather Service Los Angeles did talk about this a little bit too. They talk about the high confidence and hazardous 4 to 7 foot south swell building from Hurricane Jova off of Mexico, and that timing plus or minus 12 hours Saturday through Sunday, then lowering Monday through Tuesday there. So heads up for that if you've got concerns along the Southern California coastline. Total precipitation in inches on last night's GFS run. Let's put this into motion, and you can see we do get a bit of this precip here, and maybe the Sierra Nevada are probably going to get targeted a little bit, and some of Nevada on in through Utah, but nothing too crazy unless you're underneath that heaviest area there where you could pick up a half an inch across some of the Sierra Nevada. Now, taking a look at the European last night's run as well, this probably is a little bit more accurate. As you can see, going to mainly target the higher terrain, and you can see some of these values up over a half an inch there with some thunderstorm activity, but nothing too crazy. Maybe starting to kick up some more moisture here across Arizona and New Mexico as we go through the extended. But you can see as we go through Tuesday night, not much else precipitation-wise across California or Nevada except for those thunderstorms generated with some of that moisture from Jova. This is GFS, simulated infrared satellite imagery, and you can see as the system moves off to the northwest, it will start its weakening. It starts to lose its deep convection. Pretty good visual representation of that. And you can see some moisture kicking off towards the southwest here as the system gets sheared apart, and then the lower level moisture moves off to the west. Here we go with total precipitation inches on the national blend of models. So this kind of averages out all the models here, and we'll just go ahead and look and see what kind of precipitation it's bringing. It kind of targets a little bit further south here than what maybe what the European was saying, but you can see what the thunderstorm activity may take place with some of that moisture moving across the region there. Again, we'll look a little bit closer at this tomorrow, and we'll bring in the NAM3CAM better high resolution models and see what kind of precip we may get out of this. This is looking at the temperatures. This will be for today. You can see the upper 80s, low 90s across some of the valley areas, but watch the deserts warm up as we go tomorrow. And on into this weekend, Arizona warms up quite nicely. A lot of 110 plus degree readings here. Vegas probably going up over 100 also. Some mid 90s, maybe some upper 90s across the Central Valley areas also here. And if you get off the coastline, you can see how the temperatures increase quite rapidly here. And we'll worry about next week as we go through the next few days. Sacramento, a couple days above average here. Nothing too crazy. See the average temperature this time of year about 94, trailing off to the upper and mid and upper 80s here by the time you get towards September 21st. Las Vegas, Nevada, above average temperatures here. You'd be pushing 100 degrees probably Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And you can see the average temperature declining as we start to go on in through mid and later September. Bakersfield, California, slightly above average for the next several days. Los Angeles, International, you can see that bump kind of noticeably above average here, maybe a 90-degree day there on Sunday. But if you go inland a bit here, look at Burbank, might be pushing 100 Saturday and Sunday. Here we go, San Jose, California. Go inland a little bit here from San Francisco. You can see some nice warm temperatures here, and the average temperature this time of year right about 82, slowly creeping down towards the upper 70s. In San Francisco, average temperature this time of year is right about 71 degrees, and just kind of looking at average temperatures here as we go through the extended. Palm Springs, pretty warm out there. Check it out. A couple 110 plus degree days, maybe even 3 of them, and the average temperature declining as we go through September. Again, there was Palm Springs, and just kind of showing you that relative humidity there. Some of this is going to be from Hurricane Jova, so that's why it's going to kind of favor the higher terrain. You can kind of see that aloft. But that's what makes temperatures very comfortable there. Even though it gets quite hot in Palm Springs, you've got that nice evaporative cooling, the dry air around. So at least when you're out there sweating, it cools you off quite rapidly. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, most of the West included. We're not going to worry about this as of right now. Just kind of highlighting Southern California for some near or below normal temperatures, but we'll worry about that over the next few days. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, maybe a return to some above average conditions here across some of the South, creeping in towards Arizona and Nevada. The fires. So it didn't completely extinguish the fires. The storm system that brought flooding to Burning Man and some of Las Vegas out there in Nevada and some of the deserts of California didn't completely extinguish the fire. So there still is some smoke bubbling around. But for the most part, air quality indexes are pretty good across the state. And this is looking at the HER, the 3 km. 12Z run goes out 48 hours. You can kind of see these fires flaring up a bit here as we go through this afternoon and evening. But you know, unless you're right in the immediate vicinity of some of these fires here, it's not too bad, all things considered. And you guys know how bad it can be at this time of year. Now, take a look at this. Somebody screenshot this thing, hang it on your wall. Look at this abnormally dry, just for a couple areas of northern and extreme southeast California, and moderate drought just for the very extreme tip of California here. Look at the entire state doing quite well. Be thankful for this. And if you guys have been here for a while, and you know, the old timers know just how bad the drought can be. And look at Nevada doing very well. Also, only a very small smattering of some moderate drought down in the extreme southeast corner there. Other areas not so hot. Arizona, New Mexico not doing too well. You can see there is some severe drought around the Phoenix metro here. Also in the northwest, also bringing some severe and extreme drought into their area also. So enjoy that while it lasts here in California. And taking a look here, look at Crabtree Meadow. Still has a half an inch of snow water equivalent as some of the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada still has not completely melted out. And let's go ahead and look at this. So this is Lake Tulare right there. You can kind of see it on the GOES 18 satellite imagery, and there is still a little bit of snowfall at the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada. I think you can even pick it up here on the GOES 18 satellite imagery. Interesting stuff there. But anyway, yeah, it's been fun watching Hurricane Jova really ramp up yesterday. It's Category 5 now. Some of that moisture, again, will be pushing off in here, but it's not going to be one of the main surges of tropical moisture that we can get across the area here. That will stay, in the most part, offshore. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like, subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.